people's dialogues, certain people's opinions, going by the mass reactions. And in the entrepreneurs, they have been very much tech driven in the thing post I would say to the COVID. It has been even more challenging because there are various things, various industries, various verticals have been shut, and there have been a lot of things. For this has given a lot of rethinking and re assessment, the re the whole cognitive nature of things have been totally different because of certain things coming in, and it has become a wired world, more in the virtual space. That's why this hybrid events, hybrid, sort of formalities in certain jobs and in certain vocations have become very, very prominent. And this has given a lot of impetus to companies to come out and pave the way for something else. If you see the people in the top five, they're all become, earlier it was all manufacturing companies and all that. Now it has been tech driven. It has been, virtual reality, augmented reality driven, and various AI driven and all that, because that is more fast paced. And if you see each and every disruption happening, it has brought down, it has narrowed the gaps of, augmentation in every form, in terms of the number of people following it, in terms of the type of business making, rapid advances in a very tech-driven dog-eat-dog world where it is a constant rat race to reach the top. And the companies which have reached the top is through a lot of, inward thinking, inward assessment, inward thing, the people, assessing it, giving their opinions. If you see all these things, attributes which I told, have been practiced practically, and that has been exposed to the outside world in a very, very, very tech-driven way. Now, if you see, another thing is, if you want to nurture innovation, there are a lot of things which we have to be very clear of. First of all, if you want to nurture a startup, for instance, it is not just like that a startup comes in. We have to give them support. And, that is where, otherwise they don't see the light of day. And the support is given to things which are viable. So when you bring out a startup or an accelerator, which has to be taken, it has to be a viable investment in terms of an accelerator and a viable proposition in terms of a startup. So that is one side. Apart from that, the R&D also plays a big, very cardinal role in bringing a company to the type of product which, if it is brought out in the market, brings in a lot of revenue, and it really, spirals the profits and the acceptation levels of the people who are using it, or the type of service or whatever industry they are pertaining to. And this can be very, very useful in every segment. You go to the entertainment, you go to the sports, you go to various other segments. There is a lot of, even fintech is making a lot of leeway, and they are throwing open a lot of challenges also, which has to be properly assessed. And the challenges coming in can be of various sorts. If you go to the just like startup and the R&D and all that, which I was talking of, has to be properly supported and buttressed by people and by the government in particular, to get that thing, freely flowing in the market. And for that, the government support and every support possible from all categories. It's not just confined to the government, even the private, the support from the giants in the business also can support the small companies, because the SMEs are the backbone of the bigger sprouted big companies in the making. Because if you see, it comprises of a major chunk, a lion's share of the companies which are really evolving across the globe. It's not just confined to, I'm making it a very uniform thing here, because off late, it is most of the businesses have become boundaryless. And being a wired world, things are, rightly put across, and people are now fearlessly networking with a lot of people of their segment and various other segments where they are seeing viability. For instance, the medicine, the pharmaceutical field, the biotechnology field, and various other fields, and the edu learning, edu tech, all these things have really blossomed because they are also possible on a hybrid mode. Telemedicine and all these things which have come up, all are the tele ATMs and all that are part and parcel of these things. And now when we go to certain things like the rapid evolvement or involvement of various technologies has given rise to various things. If you take the healthcare, for instance, just like what I mentioned, there is a remote patient monitoring, the telemedicine. Then we have in finance, the blockchain and the various other cryptocurrencies which are evolving. And then we have the transportation segment. We have the EVs coming in a very big way, and the other transport systems like the bullet trains and all that make things more efficient and more relevant to the people to make things much easier. We are talking of job losses, but there are job being one industry's loss is always another industry's gain. So if we sharpen our skills and see what are there within us, we can always do all these things. People talk of that. And then we have in the manufacturing segment, we have a lot of thing being emphasized on the 3D printing, which is wormed into almost every other segment. And then we have the industry 4.0 in a very, very solid and great emphasis way. And energy in all forms, right from the solar, the clean energy, renewable energy, and all that stuff. Even things like smart grids and all that are there. Then in the agriculture also, we have these vertical gardens and the type of technology used to evolve it, which is, with the people with the paucity of space also can do very good things and can do things for the better, which very few have even imagined of earlier, which can really, in a place like India, there can be a big industry openings with augmentation of big cutting edge technologies, which can be of great use to a lot of people and bring in a flurry of jobs, exodus of jobs, I would say, in the various segments. So according to the industry and the entertainment, I don't have to tell you, with the OTT platform, movies are flourishing. People thought that entertainment was not but with the number of prints and all coming up with satellite rights and all this stuff, there's a lot of, to give a big example, there's the IPL, which was held in Dubai. It had a very good impact. People thought that the stadiums were empty in the COVID time, but the impact was that it gave rise to a 2.4 billion audience over the TV rights and all that stuff. So there is a lot of scope in every field, provided we look at with a very positive outlook and not with a jaundiced eye. So there is scope in that type of things. And, if you go by the telecom, also the 5G connectivity, it's constantly evolving and the gap is narrowing. If you see from one product to another product which has been brought out, the gap has narrowed down to a very great extent. And that is the reason why, disruption can cause more good, according to me, than bad, if seen in the right perspective. Even we are talking of chat GPT and all those things, but we have to see from the good angle. Okay, from the bad angle, it might be having certain things, but that we can have the policies driven and make a stop to it. But there are a lot of good things which has evolved from technology driven industry and the innovations which are coming in, which have become quite handy in taking the whole nation, and for that matter the world, forward by miles together. Certain very specific brains, I would say, from various countries. They are evolving technology. Like a country like Israel is bringing in technology like, in codes, in various things. And the other countries are also catching up. A country like South Korea is also doing very well. Japan is always there. And these are all innovative companies which can really, innovative countries which can really, set the trend. Setting the trend is very, very important. And there should be a person, like a person to lead and the person to follow also. We can at least be followers and not be cryptic on, being very, very hypercritical on things which are, going very positively. It is very easy to be critical, but where is the progress? The stepping stone to progress is always very critical. And these are being done by people of eminent who have gone through eminent research. They have found out certain things, and this comes and for which the big companies and the university departments, especially in Europe and all that, have really come out and brought out things which, the big products and the big automotive companies are all emanated from university departments. And all the big companies, this is what I tell always, and the big companies have always evolved from garages, which we have to, you see Walmart or any big company has evolved from a place where we can't imagine. But today they are in a driver's seat because of their hard work, their persistence, their knowledge, what they have gained over through the people, the overall opinions, learning, relearning, being keen listeners to the aftermath of releasing certain products, and reconducting it into the market, and so on. So there is a lot of thing which is evolving, and we have to see in every sphere. There is communication, as I said. We are talking of the 5G now. 6G is coming. We have the Internet of Things being applied in various things, including the medical machines and all that. So there is progress seen everywhere. Let us be positive on the progress and make a step on the gas and see how we can do it in a much better manner, and see how we can make it even more progressive. That is where we have to see. And there are now to just giving a very supportive hand and to buttress our arguments, there are a lot of things which are coming up. For instance, in the technology front, we have seen the growth of various labs. There are biotech clusters which are coming up. There are the fin hubs which are coming up. I think there is one in London, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have this things which are there, the mobility and innovation, which people are very closely scrutinizing. And then we have, in the retail, we have things like innovation labs and all that. And manufacturing is also having tech clusters. Like we have certain clusters in India also, like a place like Tirupur in down south in India. They have this textile cluster. Similarly, there are clusters in various places. There are clusters where in Maharashtra also, if you see in places like Maharashtra, Pune, we have an automobile cluster. Like that, the clusters also augment growth within the companies, which think they are smaller, but they aspire to be at least ancillary supporters for the big guns. So there is a lot of scope. The energy also we have these energy clusters happening. Then agriculture also has paved the way for agri-tech clusters. Then we have things evolving in the education system also. EdTech is actually risen its head, and it is really doing, I would say, like a carpet bombing in various places, not just in India, but across the globe. So these are all, now we have to think in a global perspective. We can't think like, think global, act local. It has to be the reverse. We have to think in a very global perspective, and that should be a unique thing, because there are a lot of SMEs who need a lot of hand-holding, because I myself am dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people who are who need a strong mentoring. So strategizing things and doing a lot of corporate interaction to get these things forward. Corporate interaction is needed, and I address a lot of business schools to get their good opinions. because we are from the old school of thought. At least I am from the old school of thought. I have to narrow that gap between the new school of thought and the old school of thought. And this is where we can excel. And these are the ideas, what we get, which emanate into bigger ideas and ultimately startups and bigger companies. So if you see our whole ecosystem, it is backed by a lot of things. The very fact that if you see from a world perspective, there are a lot of IT parks mushrooming. And these are the IT parks which are going to augment the world. It's not just confined to, even now there are big, just to cite an example, the meat is going to be, going to be substituted by artificial meat. That itself is a big market, because food is a big market. You need food to live. You can't eat to live. So they need substitutes. They need certain replacements in medicine. This COVID was a big eye opener, let me tell you. Though it has caused a lot of harm in certain perspectives, but it has done a lot of good also, which we have not seen, because a lot of industries which were dull have really risen its head. And communication has become a very big factor in all segments, because the physical accessibility to the various clients has drooped down because of and post-COVID there has been a lot of changes, things like this work from home and this and that. There are a lot of impediments, but we have to find a way out to see how we can really make it to the top and see how things can change. So if you see in certain vantage places, there are certain clusters which have come out, like in London, there is the fintech cluster. Then in a place like the basin of cutting edge technology, the Silicon Valley in US, all these are, epitomes of, cutting edge technology reaching out to the world. And these are the places from which big technology driven companies emanate and come out. Whether they sprout out the environment, like for instance, a person like Elon Musk wouldn't have been the type of person if he was in South Africa. Where is he from? Where the person is from? America has given him a very big base, and that too the place where all these big technological companies have made their foot forward. Like that, there are certain paradigm shifts certain companies have to take to make it big. If you see a video selling company has taken the roots and taken a different thing altogether to come into a company, to be a company which is strong in content. It needs no introduction, it is Netflix. So similarly in various other things have changed. If you see from the company like Amazon, which was earlier into online bookstore and all, has evolved into very online big commerce platform. And these are eye openers. Take for instance Elon Musk's companies also. There are companies like SpaceX, Neuralink, which is a human which derives certain things for the human brain. Then things like the Boring company, which is a tunnel driven company. So Tesla, everyone knows, it's become a household name in electric vehicles, and so on. SpaceX for its affordability and bringing space platform in a much affordable platform, and then the various other Neuralink and all these things which I have told. Then this is happening in every phase. So it's something which we should be proud of. Even if you see from the telephone segment also, a lot of applications have come onto our palm top, which is the iPhone has paved its way with its true security base and its sort of applications, which has caught the eye of almost every other tech savvy experts in the world. And it has become the number one seller. So there is potential, there is scope, and there is a lot of things which we can aspire for, but we have to be on the van. And if you see from the people's perspectives, they are looking at something which is very new, more the affordability also has come down by miles, because day to day things are changing and the older ones are being sold at a much better price.